of their dreams and their plans, and all we who love them just wanted to say, may God bless this couple who married today. In good times and bad times, in sickness and health, may they know that riches are not needed for wealth, and help them face problems we'll meet on their way. Oh, God bless this couple who married today. May they know their love that was shown, and as life gets shorter, may their feelings grow. Wherever they travel, wherever they stay, may God bless this couple who married today. In good times and bad times, in sickness and health, may they know that riches are not needed for wealth, and help them face problems they'll meet on their way. Oh, God bless this couple who married today. If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, and maybe at the close of your day, you will sit and watch the moon rise over Cheddar, and see the sun go down on Galway Bay. Breeze is blowing over the sea.
Good morning, everyone. Before we start our service, and we see we have quite a gathering here this morning, I just want to introduce John Knapp, who will lead our service, and of course we have Father Rick, Father Scott, and Father John here this morning with us. Before we get started, we're going to have 3 songs for the service, and we'll have one to start, one in the middle, and one to close. Before we get started, if you have a cell phone, you want to take this chance to turn that off or silence those, we'd appreciate it. And we're going to start with a song, and these are songs from Jack's CD. You probably have heard as you kind of gathered here this morning. So these are all Jack's songs. So we'll start with Ave Maria. After that, John will lead us in service. Thank you.
Maria, grazia plena. Maria, grazia plena. Ave, ave, Dominus tecum. Benedictatu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, ora pro nobis, ora pro nobis peccatoribus. Rogat in hora mortis, in hora mortis nostrae, in hora mortis nostrae, in hora mortis nostrae. Ave Maria.
Good morning, everyone. I have to be on my best behavior today, I've told the 3 gentlemen over here. So if you hear a little knocking behind here, it might be my knees, I'm not sure. But the nice thing about it is I'm honored to be here with my friends. I call them my friends. They are my friends. But also to be here with the family that I've known for many, many years. And we're here to celebrate. None of us had the idea or plans on our calendar that we were going to be here today. So this is something that because we're here, we're going to do our very best to honor and celebrate the life of a great, great lady. There's several ways we hope to do that. The music that we've heard already, you can't have any more personal music than having Jack singing. And those songs we've been listening to are great. We'll hear a few more throughout that. So in music, we'll receive comfort. There's going to be some scripture readings. We'll receive comfort from that. I brought along some poems. The family's given me some ideas. All these things will go together to celebrate and honor Bonnie's life. Also, we're going to have an opportunity, if you have a memory or a story that you'd like to share, there's going to be an opportunity for you to, as well, share something. So all of that is going to go together to put together a wonderful service for Bonnie today. One thing I'd like to do before we go any further, if we could just bow for an opening prayer, and then I'll turn it over to our priest today. Almighty God, you are the fountain of all life, and you have told us in your word that you would be our refuge, you'd be our strength, and you'd be a very present help in time of trouble. So enable us now as we pray to put our trust in you, that we may obtain comfort and find your amazing and sustaining grace to help us in this and every hour of our need. We humbly ask these things in your name. Amen.
John asked each of us to pick out a reading of our choice, and the reading I chose today from the Old Testament is from the book of the prophet Isaiah, a very hopeful reading. On this mountain, the Lord of hosts will provide for all peoples. On this mountain, he will destroy the veil that veils all peoples, the web that is woven over all nations. He will destroy death forever. The Lord God will wipe away the tears from all faces. The reproach of his people he will remove from the whole earth, for the Lord has spoken. On that day it will be said, behold our God, to whom we looked to save us. This is the Lord for whom we looked. Let us rejoice and be glad that he has saved us. The word of the Lord.
The psalm response is taken from Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In verdant pastures he gives me repose. Beside restful waters he leads me. He refreshes my soul. He guides me in right paths for his name's sake.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
Even though I walk in the dark valley, I fear no evil, for you are at my side, with your rod and your staff that give me courage.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
You spread the table before me in the sight of my foes. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
Only goodness and kindness follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for years to come.
The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
In a reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, strive eagerly for the greatest spiritual gifts. But I shall show you still more an excellent way. If I speak in human, angelic tones, but do not love, I am a resounding gong, clanging cymbal. But I have the gift of prophecy and comprehend all mysteries and all knowledge. If I have all faith as to move mountains, but do not love, I am nothing. If I give away everything I own, if I hand my body over so that it may be boast. But do not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It is not jealous, it is not pompous. It is not inflated, it is not rude. It does not seek its own interest. It is not quick-tempered. It does not brew over injury. It does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hope all things, endure all things. Love never fails. The word of the Lord.
As I mentioned, there's comfort in those words we've just heard. Let me share some of the words from our obituary. Bonnie Lee Keefe, age 88, was born on a Sunday, April 16th, 1933, in a little place called Sunbury, Pennsylvania. She was a daughter of the late Philip R. and Florence Garthwaite Meese. We know she went to be with her Lord on Saturday, October 23rd, 2021, after passing peacefully at the Arnott Ogden Medical Center. These are just a few of the people that greeted her upon her arrival. Her beloved daughter, Michelle Mickey O. Keefe Callahan. Parents, Philip and Florence. Paternal grandparents who helped raise her, Agnes and Sam Garthwaite. Brother Richard and Sylvia Meese. Brothers-in-law, Joseph Keefe and Michael and Sharon Keefe. And she's survived by a real good-looking guy. You see those pictures over there? You got to look at those if you haven't seen them. No wonder she married him. You were good-looking, Jack. And still are. Survived by her loving husband of 69 years, John J. Jack Keefe. Beloved daughters and sons-in-law, Tina L. and Steve Donahue, Colleen D. and Bill Wheeler, Jackie B. and Gary Bartholomew. Adored grandchildren, Kaylee and Eric Bentham, Hannah Davidson and L. Jacobs, Michelle and Nick Thomas, Patrick John and Jennifer Wheeler, Todd Frucci II, Dean and Jill Frucci, Jacob and Rochelle Bartholomew, Shiloh Bartholomew and Holly Crank, Josh and Deanna Bartholomew, Gary Bartholomew and Jason Sullivan, Nikki and Eric Heeman, sisters-in-law and brothers-in-law, Catherine and Dick Hughes, Mary and Dennis Wolf, Priscilla Keefe, along with numerous great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and a host of friends. I brought a poem along with me today, actually a couple of them. If I know who the author was, I'll share that with you, but this is entitled God's Garden by D.W. McConway. Let me share this and then we'll begin our service. God looked around his garden and he found an empty place. He then looked down upon the earth and he saw your tired face. He put his arms around you and lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. He knew that you were suffering. He knew that you were in pain. He knew you would never get well on earth again. He saw the road was getting rough and the hills were hard to climb. So he gently closed your weary eyelids and whispered, "Peace be thine." It broke our hearts to lose you, but you did not go alone, for part of us went with you the day that God called you home. To say the very least, Bonnie was a remarkable woman. I was honored to be able to call her friend. She was born, as I said, in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, but was raised right here in Elmira. She was a lady of many talents. She was a beautician for the former Paul Dean's hair salon, and eventually she had her own hair salon. I often wondered when the girls were growing up and I saw them at church, why their hair was always, meticulously in place. Now I know the reason why. Mom did quite a job with that as well. Bonnie worked as a home health care aide and also volunteered with hospice for some time as well. As her daughters were growing up, she was a brownie leader, I think the reason for that is she wanted to be around her girls, make sure that they were getting brought up the way she wanted them to be raised. Bonnie was a Sunday school teacher for the former Pentecostal Tabernacle, now called Emmanuel Community Church. That's where I came in play with growing up with the girls. Bonnie was a very caring person and always made sure that even during the holidays, folks in the neighborhood had a nice, warm, hot meal, always thinking of somebody else. As I said, our family went to the same church, and because of that, we were around the same age, and we were in some of the same departments and classes, and so we became great friends through the years. My three sisters and I shared some of the very classrooms with them, and I know my older sister, who passed away, was good friends with Mickey, and we just, all the guys, I was a teenager, but boy, I'll tell you what, everybody loved Mickey. I thought maybe one of these girls were going to wind up a nap. It never worked out, but we loved them all, that's for sure. At the church, Reverend Bedzik and his wife had two kids, Bonnie and Paul, and Jack reminded me when I was talking on the phone with him that it seems like we were always all hanging together, the Bedziks, the Keefes, the Knaps, and there were others, but just great, great, great memories. Bonnie had a special gift. She could keep you spellbound as she told Bible stories. And she had an uncanny ability to be able to talk to the little kids and the adults at the same time. That's quite an age gap when you think of that, but she had the way of just keeping everybody in the palm of her hand. I remember growing up, she would dress up, I think the character was Susie, I don't remember, but she'd dress up like Orphan Annie, if you could picture this, with pigtails and big rosy cheeks. She would change her voice and tell stories. And she would hold whoever was listening. I mean, she had them eaten right out of her hand. And just great, great stories. I'll never forget one that she told, and I was reminded of it when I was putting the service together. And again, she's talking in this little girl's voice, but someone asked her, how do you have joy? The word joy. And she said, well, that's real simple. And again, talking in a little kid's voice with the big rosy cheeks and the pigtails, if you can picture that. She told him, you put Jesus first, others next, and yourself last. J-O-Y. I never forgot that. She told that story probably 50 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but I always remember. And I wonder, well, now I know why she has joy in her life, because it was always Jesus, others, and herself last. Always thinking of someone else. I thought that was kind of neat. Jack and Bonnie had to deal with the tragedy of losing their beloved daughter, Mickey, and as I mentioned, what a sweetheart. It rocked their world, and it had an effect on all the people that knew the Keefe family, whether it was in the neighborhood, the church, or the community. Everybody knew. It was just a tragic event. Life has its way of throwing us a curveball now and then, and we all handle our situations different. None of us are exempt. But burying one of your children has to be the most difficult thing that someone would ever have to do. I've been a funeral director for 30 years, and I've sat at the table of those that have lost a child, and that's a tough situation. Don't look forward to burying our parents, but we know that's something that happens. But to bury one of my kids, or I buried my sister. It was one of the worst things I ever had to do. And we all are not exempt from going through these tragedies, but how we handle them tells the type of people we are. And I found something out about Jack and Bonnie. They were champions. They were wonderful examples to all of us of how to be strong. They had 3 other kids they had to be strong for, and they proved that to them, not only to them, but the rest of us. And we'll never forget that. Bonnie was a loving wife, a wonderful mother, grandmother, and a friend to all who knew her. We know she's going to be missed, but she will not be forgotten. Some of the things I've been trying to say have been put in a poem by Amanda Bradley, and I want to share that with you. Then we'll have an opportunity, if anyone wants to share, we want to do that right after this poem. Listen to these words, and this really sums up maybe what I'm trying to say today. Those we love are never really lost to us. We feel them in so many special ways, through friends that they always cared about, and even in dreams that they may have left behind, in beauty that they added to our days, and in words of wisdom that we still carry with us, and memories that never will be gone. Those we love are never really lost to us, for everywhere their special love lives on. For me to stand here and tell you that the rest of this week and the holidays that are coming up are going to be easy, my goodness, they're not. There's going to be an empty plate. It's going to be hard at Thanksgiving and Christmas and the anniversaries and birthdays. All the things that come up that we do family things with are going to be difficult. But the memories that you hold on each one of those holidays and those special days, no one can take those away. And we can tap into those every holiday, every special day. When you're laying at bed at night crying, wondering what you're going to do, tap into a memory. And you'll be okay. It's going to work out okay. Let's see if there's anyone that may want to share a thought or a memory. You don't necessarily have to come up here. You're welcome to. But if you want to just share a memory or a thought from your seat, you're more than welcome to do that. I heard there was a few folks that wanted to do that. We want to give an opportunity.
Well, I probably knew her the least amount of time anybody here. But I remember how quick I realized how much she loved the Lord. It's always stuck with me.
Wow. Thank you, Gary. Somebody else.
So I'm Dean. I'm Jackie's youngest son, and I'm going to keep myself composed. So give me a second. I felt compelled to say something today, so I decided to. And I'm going to try to read some of it, so just to kind of keep myself on track. For those of you who may have not known my grandma, she was a great many things. She was selfless, she was strong, she was honest, caring, loyal, compassionate, patient, and above all, to me, she was my grandma. She was both a typical grandma and she was both a unique grandma at the same time for us grandkids. And I want to share both. And my goal today is for you guys for me to share some of the memories that she and I had together that maybe some of you might not know. In fact, I would imagine my grandfather might not even know some of these memories. So I want to share that. I want that to be a gift for you, Grandpa. I want you to have some more memories that you might not even have. So she would do the typical things for us, like make us mac and cheese, the homemade kind. She had an excellent recipe for that. My mom still steals that. She'd let us get away with anything that we wanted. One of the lines that I heard in my entire life growing up is, "Oh, Jack, leave those kids alone." And she would also project on us, thinking that we were cold and needing to put on more clothes, even when it was summer and 80 degrees. One of her most famous lines to me was, "Dean, you need to cover those Tootsies." I don't know if anyone else had that, but Tootsies was her favorite thing, and it was such a complex for me because this is a true story. I spent a great amount of my youth being very confused when someone offered me a Tootsie Pop because I thought they wanted to crack my toes. That took me till I was about 10, so that was, thanks for that, Grandma. Which leads me to tell you how she's unique. We would often take trips to Elmira to see movies, eat at Friendly's, where she and I would connect over our meal choice. She and I would often get the grilled cheese and French fries, as well as laugh about the differences between the grilled cheese sandwiches, even though we ordered the exact same meal. She would even offer to switch me if she felt like hers looked better, which often makes me laugh now in reflection because it's the exact same meal. So we were really just picking at straws. Which again leads me to another unique quality of my grandmother, her laugh. I grew up thinking my mother, Jackie, had the most unique laugh that could ever possibly exist. To give some perspective, I felt like my mom would intentionally watch the TV show The Nanny with Fran Drescher, only to mask her own laugh with one louder and more unique. However, genetics is a funny thing, because my grandma's laugh was a perfect match with my mom's, which allowed for us grandkids to actually identify them at a mall's length range. I kid you not, we would get quiet at certain points in the mall, and we could hear them multiple stores away to find them. This was before us having all cell phones. The last unique thing I'd like to share is in regard to her sense of humor. One of my last memories of my grandma being lucid prior to her battle with dementia was a visit to Hampton Road prior to a mall trip that my brother Todd and I took. We would always want to visit them, just a side note, we would always want to visit them when we'd go to the mall because it was so close and we didn't get to see them as often as we'd like to. However, it was also tough because we would never be able to leave without them giving us money for the mall, which in my sense worried me because I didn't want them to feel like that was the only reason we were visiting. I never found a solution to that problem. However, we would eventually take the cash and rationalize that this is what they wanted to do, so it was okay. With that said, one day we visited my grandpa and he gave us $20 to go to the mall for lunch. When my grandpa wasn't looking and Todd distracted, Grandma took me to the bedroom and she made several comments that stick to me this day. She said, "Well, your grandfather clearly doesn't know what inflation is." She then said, "He paid for one of your glasses of water, so I'll pay for the other." When I think about my grandma, I immediately return to my childhood, which is why it was hard for me to hear when she passed, because I couldn't help but look at my daughter Delilah and cry. It's hard to think about someone being there your entire life, and then one day they leave. However, for all of those who had a chance to know my grandmother before she passed, I can say with confidence that getting that chance has left you blessed. Because of who she was, I will always remember that I was blessed. Thank you all for letting me share, and God bless.
That was wonderful. Are there some others before we change the order? Got plenty of time. Is there anyone else? I know we've all got memories in our hearts. Sometimes it's hard to get up and speak in a crowd, but I would encourage you to do this. Before the day's over or the week's over, share a memory with Jack or the girls. And those are, like I said already, memories are something no one can take away from us. They're treasures that we hold now from this day forward. We want to listen to another special song. This is off the CD that Jack made. Let's pay attention to this.
John, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to introduce this song because I think it's important to do so. Sure. This song is one of Jack's songs, as you know, and Jack has sung this countless times at funerals that we've had at St. Mary's Church, and accompanied by Mary McInerny playing the piano. And the song is Mother McCree. But with that, Jack would always personalize the song, whether it be Betty or Sue or Harriet or whoever. Somehow Jack made those words fit for that person. And then most of you know also too that Jack would sing that song at Mother's Day at St. Mary's Church. And that was just always, I mean, he would sing that at Mother's Day and he'd sing The Old Man at Father's Day. And just to hear him sing those, I mean, they're like Jack's songs. I mean, no one else can sing those like Jack can sing. So today it's Mother McCree, but we know it's from Mother Bonnie. So Mother McCree.
There's a spot in my heart which no Colleen may own. There's a depth in my soul never sounded or known. There's a place in my memory, my life that you fill. No other can take it, no one ever will. Sure, I love the dear silver that shines in your hair, and the brow that's all furrowed and wrinkled with care. And I kiss the dear fingers so toil-worn for me. Oh, God bless you and keep you, Mother McCree. Every sorrow or care in the dear days gone by was made bright by the light of the smile in your eye. Like a candle that's set in a window at night, your fond love had cheered me and guided me right. Sure, I love the dear silver that shines in your hair, and the brow that's all furrowed and wrinkled with care. And I kiss the dear fingers so toil-worn for me. Oh, God bless you and keep you, Mother McCree.
Perfect choice for a song, for sure. We're just about done. There's a couple more readings that I want to share with you. Father John read from Paul the Apostle in Corinthians, and I'm going to commit a cardinal crime right in front of three priests. In the King James Version of the Bible, the word is charity in 1 Corinthians 13. And if we translate that to our modern day, charity means love. I'm going to really twist it a little bit here. I'm going to take that word love and put the name Bonnie in there. And I think this is a perfect picture of Bonnie Keefe. There's just a few verses here. Let me share this with you. Bonnie never gives up. Bonnie cares more for others than for herself. Bonnie doesn't want what it doesn't have. Bonnie doesn't strut. Bonnie doesn't have a swelled head. Bonnie doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first. Bonnie doesn't fly off the handle. Well, she probably did, but not, it's not it's one of those things. It's okay. Bonnie doesn't keep the score of the sins of others. Bonnie doesn't revel when others grovel. Bonnie takes pleasure in the flowering of truth. Bonnie puts up with anything. Bonnie trusts God always. Bonnie always looks for the best. Bonnie never looks back. And Bonnie keeps going to the end. I think that paints a pretty good picture of Bonnie Keefe right there, as I change things around a little bit out of the Bible, but I think that's okay. I think those words are interchangeable. I want to close with a poem that I've used on many occasions, and I just think if Bonnie was here, there's words in this poem that you'd hear her say to people that she loved. Let me share this. It's entitled, When I'm Gone. When I'm gone, release me. It's okay to let me go. I'm at peace now with no pain or fear to show. And you mustn't tie yourself to me with tears. Instead, be thankful for all of our wonderful years. I gave to you my love, and you can only guess how much you gave to me in years of happiness. And I thank you all for the love that I have known, but now it's time for a journey, and I must travel on alone. So grieve for me, if you must, a while, but then let your grief be comforted by my trust, that I know for a time it will be sad we must part, but you will have been blessed by the memories forever that are in your heart. And I won't be far away from many of you as life goes on, because even death cannot diminish our special bond. Though you can't see me or touch me anymore, oh, I'll be near. All my love is around you every day, every year. And when that day comes, and you too will travel this path alone, you won't be. As I open my arms to you, smile and say, welcome home. Can you just picture just a minute the smile that Bonnie had? Can you picture that? She always had one. It could light up a room. That's the type of smile with her arms open that she'll greet us with, just as she was greeted this past week. If we could just close with the Lord's Prayer, and then right after that, there'll be a final song, and Kevin will give us a dismissal. But let's join in the Lord's Prayer, if we could, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you, John. Before our closing song, just a couple of quick announcements. We do have a guest book for Bonnie in front, and some prayer cards for Bonnie is outside those double doors. We're going to open in just a minute, so please, if you didn't have a chance to grab a card or sign the book, do that before you leave. We are going on to St. Peter's and Paul Cemetery for committal prayers for Bonnie. You're invited to join us there for that. I think we have most of you lined up at the side of the building here anyway. After the committal prayers, the family's gone back to the Elks Club down at the corner of Baldwin and Gray Street. I think you all know where it is. If you don't, let me know. We'll give you direction. But please continue the celebration of Bonnie's life there. So our final song will be The Parting Glass. After that, we'll have our dismissal. Thank you all.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company. shine her light on everyone. Golden Rose, Queen of Ireland, all my cares and troubles cease as we kneel with love before you, Lady of Knock, my Queen of Peace. Golden Rose, Queen of Ireland, all my cares and troubles cease as we kneel with love before you, Lady of Knock, my Queen of Peace. Lady of Knock, my Queen of Peace. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena. Ave, Ave Dominus, Dominus tecum, et benedictatum in mulieribus, et benedictus, et benedictus fructus ventris, ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, Ave Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, ora, ora pro nobis, ora, ora pro nobis peccatoribus. Rogat in hora mortis, in hora mortis nostrae, in hora mortis, mortis nostrae, in hora mortis nostrae. Ave such power in your smile, you're a soul you beguile, so there's never a teardrop should fall. When your sweet lilting laughter like some fairy song, and your shining single bright as can be, you should laugh all the while and all other times smile, and now smile, a smile for me. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they'd steal your heart away. For your smile is a part of the guilt in your heart, and it makes even sunshine more bright. Like the Lenten sweet song ringing all the day long, comes your laughter so tender and light. For the springtime of life is the sweetest of all. There's never a care or regret. And while springtime is yours through all told of your hours, let us smile each chance we get. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In a lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they'd steal your heart away. And Irish eyes are smiling again. Everybody sing. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In a lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they'd steal your heart away. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. It's you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow, is I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, we love you so. But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear the soft yet tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. I'll take you home again, Kathleen, across